seeing where we are now, what is your thoughts on kind of like where we are currently with the draft? This new thing that well, not new, it's been around for a while now, but we just had the draft. It's almost like a day one of 2024 kind of thing.
Yeah. I think wrestling as a whole right now is at I don't want to say it probably is an all-time high, right? I don't know if it's hit the craziness of like the peak Hulk Hogan era as far as popularity goes, but it's in the past 20 years or so, it's definitely the biggest it's ever been. The draft, though, see, this is one of those things. Like the draft came around when I wasn't watching, and when I came back, I was like, "What is this? Damn, wow! I should have started chanting chug right there. You killed that shit.
Hands on your knees, hands on your knees.
Hercules. But the draft, okay. To me, it's pretty lame, right? As just a adult who watches this, I mean, we're watching wrestling, but it's
We're talking about
yeah,
wrestling.
but it's kind of lame to me.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't change shows. Like my thought on the draft is if they're doing an actual draft for WWE, drafting to these two brands, Raw and SmackDown, I feel as if it should just be NXT folks that are being drafted, right? Because everyone else has already made it. It's not a draft. It's more like, I don't know. It's like free agency almost. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And most of the guys, they already are on that brand. So they're like drafted to SmackDown. It's like he's been on SmackDown.
He's been there. Yeah, exactly. And I get like the champions can go from show to show. That doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't love it. Like I think it's kind of lame. And I think it's something for them just to try to reset storylines in a sense, some of them. But I don't love it. If I'm staying in kayfabe, right? Like, this is great. I love this. This is all real. Raw definitely won the draft. Like, and we can get into who went where. On SmackDown, it was kind of like, oh, okay. But then when we got to Raw last night, as we're recording this, they blew it out of the water. Like, it's not even close. The roster from Raw to SmackDown, and maybe that has something to do with them going to Netflix early next year.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I was very surprised with the draft. I thought we would see SmackDown get more help. SmackDown's been lacking for a while. I mean, Bloodline holds that thing together, right?
And they probably still will.
And they have to continue to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I was very disappointed with the draft. I think that the highlight of the draft for me, other than the Monster of All Monsters coming back, I think that the highlight for me was just seeing the alumni come out. Seeing Steph. Steph is back now. Clap it up one time for Steph. Stephanie's back. And getting to see the Ron Simmons and JBL and the Dudley Boys, and
yep.
I think what was it? Tori Wilson showed up, right? Like,
oh yes, she did.
Yep. like that's cool things to me, like because we don't really get to see our veterans unless it's at the Hall of Fame or unless they do
or Mania weekend. They always have, they always have them around.
Exactly. So to see them on a regular show, I think that was dope. I hope that they can, especially now that like they're in TKO now, like you have like cool things that you can like draft a UFC guy.
Yeah.
Like just to have him on the roster, I think that would be cool. I mean, at the end of the day, this is entertainment, right? Wrestling, entertainment. So entertain us. Do some cool, outlandish things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I hope TKO does going forward. And then the other people that they've brought on, like you've noticed like different types of interviews, right? Throughout the shows, different type of camera angles. They've changed the entrance area where wrestlers come out. So I think creativity. Well, it's been a minute since I podcasted over here, Dre.
You want to try it again?
On a creative tip. There we go.
There you go.
I'll say it that way. There's a lot of things that can be changed about the draft. And I would hope that it turns into, just drafting folks from NXT. I mean, there was obviously people that did get drafted. I don't know if we want to go into SmackDown and Raw and then talk a little bit about who went where, but
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to saying that Raw won the draft, like, let me just run through. These are the notable people, right? Notable folks. So SmackDown, Bianca Belair, solid. I think she's um I think Rhea is the best female wrestler, but Bianca's right there. Um then
Yeah,
Carmelo Hayes goes oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as that goes, like you got to throw Charlotte there too, as well.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
you know,
The three of them very solid. Carmelo Hayes goes second for SmackDown, which it's like, if we're living in this world of like, this is a draft and you're wanting that was a little early for Melo.
mhm.
Um, had a cool match at the end of the night against Cody. Looked great. I do worry that he's like a smaller dude and he's going to get pushed kind of to the side because, I mean, you look at him and I mean, nobody looks like they're going to be able to take out Braun Strowman, but just he made Cody look big. You know what I mean? So that's wouldn't be my second pick, is all I'm saying. If I'm a GM of SmackDown,
Yeah,
my guy Randy Orton. Did I do it?
it's the
Kinda.
RKO himself.
Yeah. KO, sure. Yep. Jade Cargill, of course. Why does she what's the paint thing down the center of the face? What is that when she wrestles?
I have no idea. She put up a post saying, "Should I do the long hair or should I do the short hair?"
And they keep doing like a Storm's coming. Like, is she supposed to be Storm from X-Men? Like, are we doing that?
That's the bit.
And then when she did the LL Cool J thing, yeah. Okay. Anyways, then your girl Tiffany Stratton, who I think is
Hold on. Tiffy time.
I mean, they've launched a rocket to her back, and I think she's good. I don't know if it's time for her yet. L.A. Knight, yeah. They get him. The Bloodline, which now Solo, Tamatonga, and maybe somebody else soon, which I'm sure we'll get to here shortly. AJ Styles, Andrade, who I think is super slept on. Legado del Fantasma. I love that they split up in the draft, Legado del Fantasma and the LWO, and they were back to back. They're like, oh, well, we need a Latino faction over here. I mean, and then you have Shinsuke, Naomi, the Pride, which is like the worst name ever for a group. Like, can we give them something else? And then Nia Jax, Baron Corbin. I'm excited to see what he can do coming back. Yeah. But then you get into Raw, man.
Hold on real quick. Oh, you forgot to mention DIY.
Okay.
Staying on SmackDown. Hey, don't disrespect.
Yeah, no. Okay. Go ahead.
My man Ciampa is the guy. Come on. Don't disrespect him. Don't disrespect him.
Maybe this is because, again, from the era I started watching wrestling, these smaller guys, like they're great, but I feel like there's only there's a certain level they can reach, right? And that level is like US title, maybe. Well, once Logan Paul decides to not be around anymore, because he's going to have that until he decides that he's done. But it's just like these dudes are small and they're bigger than me and they're stronger than I am, sure. But like when you look at them in the ring, it's just Vince has me. I don't know if we can even say his name anymore, but he had a very specific type of wrestler for years. Yeah. And even someone like HBK wasn't huge, but he was definitely taller and bigger. And I don't know. Then you get guys like Ciampa. Like, okay, DIY is fine. Whatever. They're not on my list of top like 50, maybe not even top 100 tag teams ever.
Damn. Okay. You didn't mention my thick boy coming back. Sheamus. He's on SmackDown.
No, he's on Raw. That's what I'm going to get to.
That's right.
No, let me get to Raw.
My bad. Go ahead.
Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Gunther, who's one of my personal favorites right now, and his boy Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah. CM Punk, who I don't love, but he keeps me entertained, and him and Drew had a great back and forth, which on Raw, which they would never do before when someone was injured. They never kept guys around when they were injured, but they're doing a lot of that. Braun Strowman comes back, Braun Breaker, Drew McIntyre, Judgment Day, Dragunov from NXT, Liv Morgan, and we'll get to this in a second. LWO, Final Testament, Damage Control, your boy Ricochet, Sheamus, Alpha Academy, Bronson Reed, the Creed brothers, like that's a much better roster from top to bottom. And I didn't even name some others. Like there's some that I just Kiana James, I'm not gonna sorry. But they blew it out of the water. Like if that's like if we're staying in kayfabe and we say like who won, Raw won.
Absolutely. Hands down. It's the best show out right now. And the only downfall with it is, I mean, we're on the West Coast, so it's super late, right? It's hard, especially being old dads like us, like staying up until midnight watching.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I don't know who. Hopefully, somebody sees this who controls programming for WWE. It makes no goddamn sense that I can know what happened on Raw on Twitter before it even starts. I can know the beginning, the middle, the end, all that before it even starts here in Salt Lake City, unless I have DirecTV. But no, I have Hulu now, or if you have Comcast or Xfinity, whatever, many other providers, it's not on live, quote unquote live. So somebody fix that. That'd be great because
hopefully they fix it with Netflix.
Yeah, I think it has to, right? Like Netflix is going to be doing the Paul Tyson fight. That'll be live. It'll be really live, and I would assume SmackDown would be the same, or Raw rather.